So my name is Carlos Carrillo. I'm the Executive Director of the South Florida chapter of the Associated General Contractors of America. I'm here today in support of Dr. Navarro's recommendation that the Superintendent's Office review directives and procedures to ensure that contractors are being paid in a timely manner. And so I appeared before you all in March of this year regarding our association's formation of a task force to address what seems to be a pattern of mistreatment of contractors by Miami-Dade County Schools Office of Capital Improvements. Now, one of the tasks that we undertook was to survey contractors who were working for Miami-Dade County Public Schools, and I would like to share just 4 different slides from that survey with you all today. It was a much larger survey, but I just wanted to boil things down. I believe these are going to highlight some of the challenges faced by contractors building our schools and why this is an important item. Now, the first slide shows the time our survey respondents said it takes them to receive final payment after project completion. So what you're seeing there is contractors getting paid 2 to 4 years after they complete a job. And 40% of respondents said it takes an average of 2+ years to receive their final retainage after substantial completion of their project. Here is the longest that it has taken them to get paid. Now, over 70% of respondents on this question indicated that it took them more than 25 months to receive final retainage after the project, again, received substantial completion. And keep in mind, please, it's not just the general contractor. The GC releases that final retainage on to their specialty contractors and suppliers as well.
Mr. Chair?
Your time is up.
Mr. Chair, I'd like to make a motion to extend Mr. Carrillo's time. I think it's valuable information for us to know.
Got a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Continue.
Thank you. I appreciate that. The next slide is highlights the procedure that must be addressed when you guys are looking over the process. The Office of Capital Improvements can issue a contractor a directive to do additional work that was not on the original scope of the project, right? It's called the change order and construction directive process. The process is broken. Instead of agreeing to a price or coming to an agreement at the start of the work, the contractor receives a directive to do it, which is the way the contract works, and then has the price of the work reduced as part of the final negotiation to receive their final retainage. And here is the ultimate consequence: less contractors bidding on Miami-Dade County public school jobs. I believe the number is 40% of contractors say that they no longer bid to Miami-Dade County Public Schools Office of Capital Improvements. This means higher prices for the taxpayer and lower quality construction for our students. This proposal is a great start, but we feel more has to be done. We've recently submitted a public records request to study why this is happening to the members of the construction community, and we'll bring those findings and recommendations to you all. We've requested meetings with you all. We've had meetings with most of you all, and also Raul's team has reached out to us. We have an appointment with him next week to go over the survey findings. We've shared them with him and to discuss our recommendations as well. So I want to say thank you to you all for extending my time. Thank you to Dr. Navarro and all of you who co-sponsored this legislation, which is most of you. So thank you all very much for your understanding and your help. We appreciate it.
Thank you. Dr. Navarro, is your item?
Thank you, and thank you, colleagues, for extending the time. Thank you, Mr. Carrillo, for being here today. I look forward to receiving the full survey, and I will be working with Mr. Perez as I chair the Facilities Construction Committee to possibly adding it on the agenda so that we could get a full briefing. But I'm very happy to hear that you're going to be meeting with Mr. Perez, and I know only good stuff will come out of this item. Thank you.
Thank you all very much.
I think you all have the item before us. On November 6, 2012, Miami-Dade County Public Schools asked county voters to invest in the schools by approving the issuance of a $1.2 billion general obligation bond for renovating facilities, updating technology, building school replacements, expanding student capacity, and enhancing facility safety. The community let their voices be heard, and nearly 70% of those voting supported the measure. The bond has provided Miami-Dade County Public Schools long-term capital needs to be repaid over time with minimal impact to homeowners. The bond has created 9,200 jobs during the first 3 years, and the bond has more than 18,000 sustainable jobs during the construction. School Policy 6020.02 provides for prompt payment to contractors and vendors for approved invoices, and further stipulates that it is the board's policy that payment for the purchases by the board be made in a timely manner. The superintendent has authorized to develop and implement administrative directives and procedures to provide those contractors and vendors will receive prompt payment from the board upon receipt of the proper documentation, including an approved invoice for the amount due and confirmation of the goods and services that have been received and accepted by the appropriate district staff. Prompt payment provisions may be waived, suspended if the superintendent has made a determination after construction with the chief financial officer that is urgent situation, crisis, or other compelling condition exists that seriously impacts normal business operations. In an effort to ensure that all GOB vendors get paid on time in a timely manner, this item seeks to recommend, and that we have done this in the past, we have talked about prompt payments many times, but it is important to continue to look at that as we're in the final stretch of the general obligation bond, and we continue to hear that people have not been paid, in some cases, in 2 years. The superintendent may review existing administrative directives and procedures and determine whether they need to update to ensure that vendors are paid on a timely basis and report back to the board during the October 20th meeting. This item will also seek to request that the superintendent establish a monthly report to all pending GOB-related projects during the Facilities and Construction Committee meeting. This is the item before you. I want to thank Mr. Carrillo again for coming. I want to thank my co-sponsors, Dr. Steve Gallen III, our Vice Chair, Ms. Baez Geller, Dr. Dorothy Bendros-Mendengal, Ms. Maria Teresa Rojas, and Ms. Santos. Thank you, Mr. Chair. That is the item before us. Mr. Chair.
Thank you. I have Dr. Dorothy Bendros-Mendengal and Board Member Rojas.